Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'm discussing a subject which I think is least talked about, and this is the subject of managing personal debt. And of course we have many different types of borrowers. We have governments, we have companies, and we have individuals. And the focus here is individual borrowing. And I must say here, notwithstanding the many myths that surround debt, I must say that debt is neither illegal nor immoral. It all depends with why you are borrowing. And I want to categorize debt into two forms. We have what we call good debt, and we have what we call bad debt. And good debt is that debt which you take to buy what we call investment assets or start a business, or either boost a business or re-energize your business. And this debt, you find that most of the times the cost of borrowing is lower than the expected return from either the business you're investing in or the investment assets that you've purchased. On the other hand, we have bad debt, and this is the type of debt whereby you borrow to buy things that have no promise of returning anything to you in form of return or income in the future. For example, when you buy a piece of furniture because you want to feel good, or even you buy the latest model of a car just to keep up with what your peers are buying, then that will be what is called a consumption good. Because if the car you're buying, it's not a tool of trade meant to enable you perform your duties that enable you to generate an income, then we say such type of a purchase is what we call a consumption good. So anytime you borrow money to buy consumption goods that do not have a promise of giving you anything in return in the future, then we say that is bad debt. And especially if you don't need those consumption goods right now, because sometimes there are things we buy that really are necessary for our daily living. And I would say that you can also borrow money to invest in some assets that you've not done feasibility study, that you've not researched on to see how much they are gonna return, but you just borrow money to invest in such assets. If they end up returning to you less than the cost of your borrowing, then what appeared to be a good debt from the look of things on the onset then turns out to be a bad debt. So I want to give examples of what a good debt is. So when you borrow money to go back to school so that you can improve on the quality of your human capital, that is good debt. When you borrow money to buy investment assets like shares, bonds, bills, money markets, land, real estate, then that is good debt. But on the flip side, when you borrow money to show off to your friends that you are also doing well, either to buy things like furniture or car or clothes, things that lose value and don't have a promise of returning anything, then that is bad debt. So my encouragement or my advice to people is that before you can borrow any debt, determine what the purpose of that debt is, and please do not deviate the funds when you get the money. Only engage in those things for the purpose you meant the debt to meet. Another thing is to say that don't borrow debt to keep up with what your friends are doing, because then you are paying interest, and this interest compounds, and then it becomes a very powerful negative force that would psychologically affect your life and even your relationships. Another thing I want to say that don't also borrow money using credit cards if you are not able to manage credit cards. If you have a problem of overspending, please beware credit card debt. Because credit cards are meant just to meet your emergency situations. So that unless a situation is an emergency situation, then I would say keep off borrowing on your credit cards. And when you find yourself that you have borrowed, then please pay the maximum you're capable of, because the lower the amounts you pay, then the higher the interest you end up paying. And if you have many debts and you're wondering what to do about them, that you find yourself in a debt merry-go-round, I would advise that you come up with a strategy to restructure or pay your loans. And of course, I would say you begin by paying the high interest rate debts first before you can pay the lower interest debt first. And once you do that, once you avoid bad debt, what we call consumer loans, and when you engage in more business debt that you expect to reap more than you're paying in interest, then I think you'll be on the right track to building financial wealth. So thank you very much for taking your time to listen. In case I did mention anything, and you can put it on the comment section, please go ahead and do it. If you have any question, please go ahead and put it in the comment section, and I'll try my best to give feedback. Thank you very much. Goodbye.